What happens to your files when you die? Not your house, not your money, your files. Your photos, your documents, everything you've ever saved to the cloud. Because here's the thing nobody talks about. You don't actually own any of it. You're renting space on someone else's computer. And the moment you stop paying, or stop breathing, that data has a very different future than you think. So let's go through every major cloud service and talk about what they actually are, what they're actually good for, and what they're quietly not telling you.
Google Drive. Google Drive gives you 15 gigabytes for free, which sounds generous until you realize that free storage is shared across Gmail, Google Photos, and Drive all at once. So if your inbox is full of old emails with attachments, your drive is already shrinking without you even touching it. Google Drive works best when you're inside the Google ecosystem. Docs, Sheets, Slides all live here natively. Collaboration is smooth. Sharing a link takes 2 seconds. But here's what Google doesn't advertise. If your account stays inactive for 2 years, Google reserves the right to delete everything in it. And if you die, your family can't just log in and get your files. They have to submit a formal request through something called the Inactive Account Manager, which most people have never heard of and never set up. So yeah, your entire digital life could disappear just because you forgot to open Gmail for 2 years.
iCloud. iCloud is Apple's cloud service, and it's deeply built into every iPhone, iPad, and Mac. The moment you set up an Apple device, iCloud is already running in the background, syncing your photos, contacts, messages, and app data without you even asking it to. The free tier gives you only 5 gigabytes, which fills up fast the moment you start backing up your phone. But iCloud's real strength isn't storage size, it's how invisible it is. Everything just works across your Apple devices without thinking about it. The problem is leaving Apple. If you ever switch to Android or Windows, getting your data out of iCloud is genuinely painful. And about that death question, Apple has one of the strictest digital legacy policies of all the major cloud providers. Until 2021, if you died, your iCloud account was simply terminated. No transfer, no access for family. They've since introduced a digital legacy feature, but it's off by default and barely anyone knows it exists.
OneDrive. OneDrive is Microsoft's cloud storage, and it comes built into every Windows PC. If you use Microsoft 365, you get 1 terabyte of storage, which is enormous compared to the competition. OneDrive works best for people who live inside Word, Excel, and PowerPoint because everything autosaves directly to the cloud in real time, meaning you almost never lose work. But OneDrive has a reputation problem. It aggressively pushes you to save everything to the cloud, even when you didn't ask it to. A lot of Windows users have opened their PC to find that local files were quietly moved to OneDrive without clear warning. And if you get your Microsoft 365 subscription, your storage drops back down to 5 gigabytes instantly. Cancel, and files beyond that limit become read-only until you either pay again or delete them.
Dropbox. Dropbox was the original cloud storage service that made everyone else copy it. Before Google Drive and iCloud were serious products, Dropbox was the thing. It popularized the idea of a synced folder on your desktop that just worked. And honestly, for pure file syncing across devices and platforms, Dropbox is still one of the most reliable options. The problem is the free tier, only 2 gigabytes, which is basically nothing in 2025. Dropbox has leaned hard into the business and team market, which means their pricing for regular users feels steep compared to what Google and Microsoft offer. It still works great. It's just harder to justify for personal use when the competition gives you more storage for less money.
Amazon S3 and Amazon Drive. Most regular users have never heard of Amazon S3, but they use it every single day without knowing. S3 is the storage infrastructure that powers a huge chunk of the internet. Netflix, Airbnb, Reddit, NASA, they all store data on Amazon servers. It's built for developers, not regular people. Amazon did have a consumer cloud product called Amazon Drive, but they shut down the unlimited photo storage plan and eventually the whole service for general files in 2023. So if you were storing files on Amazon Drive, they gave you a deadline to move everything out or lose it. Which is actually a perfect example of something people forget. Cloud services can just stop existing.
Mega. Mega is the underdog of cloud storage, and it gives you 20 gigabytes for free, which is more than Google, Apple, and Microsoft combined on their free tiers. That alone makes it worth knowing about. The big selling point is end-to-end encryption, meaning even Mega itself cannot see your files, not even their own employees, not even if someone legally forces them to. This makes it genuinely one of the most private cloud options available to regular users. But Mega has a complicated history. It was founded by Kim Dotcom, who has a very controversial background in the file-sharing world. And some security researchers have raised concerns about Mega's encryption implementation over the years. So the privacy promise is real, but the company behind it carries baggage that makes some people uncomfortable trusting it with sensitive data. It works, it's just not for everyone. The truth nobody tells you. Here's what every single one of these services has in common. None of them guarantee permanent storage. All of them can change their pricing, reduce your free tier, or shut down entirely with enough notice to be technically legal. Your data exists as long as you keep paying and as long as the company keeps existing. And when you die, the default answer from almost every cloud provider is that your account dies with you, unless you've specifically set up a legacy or inheritance plan in advance. So yeah, the cloud isn't a place. It's just someone else's hard drive. And unlike a hard drive you own, you don't get to decide what happens to it when you're gone. Set it up now, while you still can.